What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. So the Denver Nuggets just played the Sacramento Kings. The date of the game was December 29th. This was the fourth game of the year. And we went into this game. We expected to beat the Sacramento Kings. And like last year when we were playing against bad teams, like this year we're playing against bad teams, apparently we lost. And they did not play defense. The Sacramento Kings got whatever they want. De'Aaron Fox is basically Isaiah Thomas and just getting past anybody he wants to get to. He's getting to the paint. He's kicking it out. They're hitting floaters. Rayshawn Holmes hit probably 7 floaters today. That's just his game. So it was a frustrating night. If you feel like me, I understand. I get it. But once again, relax. Relax. This is the start of a new year. There was a 71-day off season. The Nuggets came off the Western Conference Finals. They didn't get to take off time like the Kings did. The Kings didn't do anything. They haven't done anything since March. So the teams that are playing really well, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, the teams that are playing really well seemingly either did not go to the bubble or they were teams that were right on the edge of getting into the bubble. So you got the Charlotte Hornets, you got the Sacramento Kings, you got the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're balling. Their records are either 2-2 or 3-1, and they're playing well. Well, the major teams are struggling. The Nuggets are 1-3. The Clippers just got beat by 50 points, 51 points. The LA Lakers are 2-2. It's just the way things are. It's just the way things are right now. That's the kind of rhythm they're in. We're the really good teams. They're either coming off playoffs and they're just not there yet. They're getting into the groove. They're adjusting to new players. It's just the time of year we are in. So everyone relax. The Nuggets have their clear concerns. They need to get better on defense. They have to stop penetration. They have to do whatever they can to stop penetration. They're giving up too many threes. There are some things that need to be adjusted. But I believe under Michael Malone's system, with Jamal Murray, with Nikola Jokic, with Michael Porter Jr., with Paul Millsap, Gary Harris, Will Barton, they will get it together. It's just going to take some time. You could tell after the game that Nikola Jokic, with another triple-double, 3 out of the last 4 games, basically should be 4 out of the last 4 games, had another triple-double. He was frustrated after the game. My Serbian viewers, you might have been able to tell he was had something to say in Serbian. He was talking to himself. You could tell he was frustrated. He was angry because the Nuggets just did not perform well. They got up 10 points at some point in the third quarter, and then basically from there they were outscored. I want to say like 37-16 or something like that. So it just wasn't a good performance. Now, get some of the game notes. Michael Porter Jr. played 40 minutes tonight. He scored 30 points on 12 of 18 shooting, 4 of 7 from three-pointers, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and he had 10 rebounds. That's a game. That's a game. And Michael Porter Jr. struggled last game against Harrison Barnes. He struggled in the first half defensively, but actually he picked it up, especially when the third quarter started. He had some blocks. He started getting his hands up. He started moving. You see, Michael Porter Jr. is just like Bol, but he's further ahead than Bol. He is just learning how to play basketball. He's learning how to play the game. He's learning about the little things that it takes to be successful on a game-by-game basis, quarter-by-quarter basis, a play-by-play basis. It just takes time. And so, I see Nuggets fans that are really high on Porter that are obviously, kind of taking the patient route, maybe like myself. I see some Nuggets fans who are just irritated by his lack of defense or what appears to be his lack of defense. But again, Porter will come along. He will get better. He will continue to figure it out. And today he made strides even in game, but I think he got tired towards the end of the game. Again, he played 40 minutes after coming off a back-to-back last night, in which he played 24 minutes. In that fourth quarter, he just wasn't there. And so again, it's just, everybody is just figuring out what they're supposed to be doing. But again, that's what you want to see out of Porter. He was shot well. He got better on defense. It will help when we get our rotations fixed on the second unit. I'll talk about that later. But again, Porter 30-10 tonight. Good game. Nikola Jokic, I don't know what else to say. He played 39 minutes. He had 26 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, 9 of 14 from the field, only 1 of 3 from the three-point line, but he was 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 7 of 7. What else can you say? The man is averaging 20. He had 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists. What else can you ask for? What else can you ask for? That means it's putting him just around 25 points a game, just around 11.7 rebounds a game, plus 13.5 assists a game. What else can you ask him to do? If anything, Cola is being asked to do too much and that he's playing so many minutes because, again, the bench is just not where it needs to be yet. It's not. And, again, Monte Morris stepped in for Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray was out. Monte Morris was admirable today. He had 24 points. He had 4 assists. And unfortunately, he had a turnover. But again, that's his first turnover in maybe like 3 games. But he had 24 points. He was 10 of 15 from the field. He was 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. Once again, these are winning numbers. Gary Harris, 31 minutes. He had 11 points. He was 5 of 11 from the field, not great, and only 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. Again, Gary Harris is just still figuring it out. And like I said, if Gary Harris isn't playing lockdown defense, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, then he does become a liability at times. So it's just we're going to have to continue to take the bad with the good with Gary Harris. He just doesn't seem to have a feel on him offensively right now. But he needs to continue to shoot. He needs to continue to shoot the 3-point from the corners, especially where he's shooting over 40%. And yeah, it's just we needed more from him on defense today. The Kings they know what to do with them. So Richaun Holmes always has some kind of a good game against the Denver Nuggets. It's just because they're trying, the Kings, as best as they can to get De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes and pick and roll, and they're trying to get them off so they can get to the basket, they can get their shot. And so Richaun Holmes is just rolling to the basket, and he's just available for these putbacks. Again, Richaun Holmes had 20 points tonight, and he was 10 of 13 from the field. Like, man, get out of here. Like, I don't mind Richaun Holmes' game, but I already know that when the Nuggets play against the Kings, Richaun Holmes is going to look like he's the second coming of David Robinson. That's just the way he's going to play because of how the Nuggets play defense, how the Kings are targeting. They're trying to hit that soft spot right in the middle of the defense between the pick and roll where he has an 8-foot bunny, and he just shoots it, and he knows how to make that shot. And so every time he makes a floater, he runs off in the court screaming and yelling as if he's an all-star player or something. But again, he does what he needs to do for that team. Will Barton, 7 points tonight, 4 rebounds. PJ Dozier, 8 points tonight, 4 rebounds. PJ Campazzo, he played. Sorry, PJ Dozier, Facu Campazzo. He played a lot more minutes tonight. Played 13 minutes. He wasn't super productive, but I did like when he was on ball. He needs to be on ball. I don't know how they're going to make that second unit work with Monte Morris and him. He needs to be on ball. So does Monte Morris. They both need to have the ball. So they're really going to have to figure out that point guard situation. Right now, the bench just isn't good. I'm a little frustrated with Hartenstein. He has the ability. He has the work hard. He's Mr. Work Hard. In America, if you're not from America and you're listening to this, there's a difference that we call in athletics between a thoroughbred and a mule. And so a thoroughbred is somebody who's a crazy athlete who just got all the talent in the world, and you can just tell when they're walking around that dude's an athlete. But a mule is somebody that just does all the work. They carry all the weight up the mountain. And so with a mule, they're not really all that talented, but they're going to work hard. And so he reminds me of a mule right now. He just doesn't have great hands. He is just not the highest IQ player yet. He's still figuring it out, and he has a kind of a clunky free throws for him too. And so I think he's 4 from 8 from the free throw line this year so far. Missing layups, just, again, he's figuring it out. We're figuring it out with the bench. There are times where I do miss Mason Plumlee. But again, we're figuring out. It's just the second unit is just not strong as it needs to be yet. So, some game highlights, man. The Nuggets started off with great defense, but it did not last for the whole game. Also, Jokic had a light Euro step. I'm not sure if you saw that tonight, but he drove into the lane and had like a very, very light Euro step, and he just looks super fluid on offense. He just needs some help. I'm not concerned, but I really need to see the offense become more integrated with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. intentionally with Nikola Jokic, because I don't want him to get overworked during the season. And I know how Jokic is. We have all been watching Jokic for years now. He gets frustrated at times, and that's where those half-court fouls start to come. That's where, the animation in his body language. And so we just want to make sure that we're giving him enough help. Right now, we're not giving him enough help offensively because we're losing. We're definitely not giving enough help defensively. So, again, I don't know if the Nuggets are long enough. We don't have a player that's in our front court that teams are fearing defensively. It's not that we had that with Paul Millsap, but again, he was younger, savvy, That's where kind of I think we missed Jeremy Grant. I think having Jeremy Grant and Michael Porter Jr. on the backside, it just helped a lot with maybe slowing some of that a little bit from the pressure standpoint and from putting so much pressure on the getting to the basket and the kickouts and all that. But again, it's just figuring out the little stuff and just getting better as the season goes on. I don't believe the Nuggets are going to have a bottom third defense. They're going to get up into the second tier of that. They should end the season around maybe 14 or 13. They have the potential. It's just about figuring that part out. Again, I like that Facu played. I like the way that he started off. He did have some turnovers in there. It's just adjusting to the speed of the NBA and just learning how to play defense against some of these really quicker guards that are bigger than him as well. And so, again, it's just figuring that part out. It's just a little, like I said, a little clunky right now. Bol just does not look like he is ready to play NBA basketball right now. He's got frustrated with himself. He airballed a three-pointer tonight, and he just wasn't, he doesn't have a presence on defense. He's hanging out when on defense in the paint, kind of in the dunker spot, but he just doesn't have that presence yet when people are coming to the lane and they're just afraid to put it up because Bobo was standing there. It's just not there yet. Again, youth. Our biggest problem is 7 new players and youth. So whenever you're talking to your friends and everyone about the Denver Nuggets, Twitter, youthfulness and 7 new players, remind them they are just figuring out how to integrate 7 new players, trying to figure out how to get these young players, Michael Porter Jr., P.J. Dozier, Bol. How do you get them? Even Hartenstein, 22 years old. How to get them to understand championship basketball? And so Jokic is getting frustrated because he knows championship basketball, but is getting everyone else to get on that same page. Not everyone can start off as hot as the best player in the NBA right now. So, again, I liked aggressive MPJ today. Again, 30 points and 10 rebounds. There was a stretch there in the third quarter where he was just unstoppable. He was just unstoppable. I think he might have had like 14 or 15 in the third quarter. And then Jokic went off as well, and they just took over. So we need to continue to figure out how to integrate, like the numbers that they had. So 30 and 10 for Porter, 26, 11, and 12 for Jokic, and then Morris had 24. Well, where's Jamal Murray in that? That's what I'm saying. In the future, as we're growing, you should expect that from the Denver Nuggets, that Jokic is going to have a triple-double because he has all these weapons around him, namely Jamal Murray and MPJ. MPJ has 30 points and 10 rebounds because he's crashing the boards and he's hitting his threes like he did today. He's getting to the basket. And also with Jamal Murray can do whatever he wants because he's Jamal Murray. 24 points. That should be the future of the Denver Nuggets. I think personally, they just need wing players that can play defense and hit shots and rotate well. That's what they need, because you can build an offense around 3 supernovas. There's a way to do it, but it's just about helping them to figure it out now. MPJ is still figuring out basketball. Porter is just, he's still learning out at like the ins and outs of playing with Jokic and playing at the Nuggets and just spacing and moving and cutting. And Jokic is, again, he's trying to help everyone come along. And Murray is just trying to pick a spot. You could tell Murray's intention trying to be a point guard and distribute. But again, he didn't play tonight because of, a minor injury. He should be back on Friday when we play against the Phoenix Suns. So, Nuggets fans, we are 1-3, and I am not completely surprised by that. Would we have liked them to come out this season and be 3-1 to start the season? Well, of course. But again, if you look around the NBA, you look around the standings in the NBA, that is just not what's happening right now. That's not where the league is right now. The good teams are really struggling. The Bucks just lost. Tonight they scored 29 3-pointers against the Miami Heat. They blew them out by like 47 points or something like that. Okay, well, the Miami Heat beat them 4-1 in the playoffs last year, so Miami's not all that worried about it. Let's see them do that in the playoffs. It's the same thing with everybody else. Even the Lakers, they got beat by the Portland Trailblazers the other day. Yeah, okay, well, let's see what they do in the playoffs. Like, are you worried about the LA Lakers? Are you worried about the Clippers, like, getting to the playoffs, being a top-tier seed? You worry about the Bucks? Well, you don't be worried about the Nuggets either. It's the same thing. The elite teams in the NBA are having to figure out how to transition from an NBA bubble playoffs where they were playing well into the season, into September and October, and then now turning around 70 days later and having to play a new NBA season when all these other teams that were sorry last year are having to integrate back into the season. And now they took 9 months off and they're super hyped, believe they have the chance to win the title, a chance to make the playoffs. So all these teams are super excited. The Kings, the Suns, all these folks, Charlotte, all these shiny new toys. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you the Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, Bucks will be there in the end. It's just about figuring things out early. So if you have not subscribed to this podcast and you are a Denver Nuggets fan, a Denver Broncos fan, this is the place for you. This is your home. Subscribe. We're building our coalition. Y'all, after that video that y'all hyped up and subscribed for last time, I had over 100 new subscribers. Yo, let's keep this ball rolling. This is our community. Let's invest in this community. Tell your people, tell your friends, share. This is your community. If there are subjects that you want to hear about, if there are things you want to talk about, leave them in the comment section. I already have some ideas for y'all, some special things planned. So look, let me know. Talk to me. You know I'm going to talk back to you. So again, subscribe. Let's get it going. Denver Nuggets going to be all right. Let's keep holding on to hope. I'll see y'all soon. We coming back Friday. The Denver Nuggets play the Phoenix Suns. Let's go.